Alright, find the hole.
It appears Genesis is sending me another G80, but this one's electrified, unlike the other one we had, which was gasoline operated. Let's take a close look and see how much this baby is. I don't think there's any options. Of course, he had to add an option. How much for paint? $1,500. Must be nice paint. And there's the total tab. I'm not going to go over all the standard features. We'll be here all day. Let's just say it's loaded up with everything. But the good news, it's totally made in Korea, in a Korean plant with Korean workers with Korean parts, which means the quality is going to be very high. As far as the MPG, I've never understood the formula for this on electric cars. They have, but there it is for your reading pleasure. By the way, we had a gasoline G80 that looks exactly like the one we're getting, except it has a gasoline engine under the hood, and this was the fully loaded price, so we're paying a bit more for the electric version, I see. And this is what it looked like. So let's do a comparison and see what our electric G80 looks like. Well, here it is. It doesn't look much different than the one I just showed you with the gas engine, does it? Nice looking vehicle, but there is one major difference. The gasoline version has a real grill to allow airflow to cool the gasoline motor. This one is solid and fake. If you don't know about this magic button, you'll never find the charger. And this is where you plug it in. Now you know. One of the first things we do to get a vehicle is to check and see what brand of tires they send us, because a lot of manufacturers are putting junk on, but these are Michelin's, so we're good to go. Then we check to see if there is a spare tire. Being an electric vehicle, there's no room, of course not. You do have a charging cable under there. And as always, we take the headlights out in the dark and do a night drive. We already did that video and posted it on YouTube. If you missed it, we'll have a link for that at the end of this video, so you can see both. You might as well, since you're already here. Most electric cars, you can't raise the hood and show the battery system, but on this one you can, because, well, let me show you. So instead of designing a completely new vehicle from the ground up, which costs a lot of money, Genesis took their G80 sedan, ripped out the engine and transmission, and shoehorned this electric system in. Saves a lot of development time, saves a lot of money. That's the positive side. You get a vehicle that looks like a real car instead of something goofy like the electric cars, most of them do. A positive side for you. And there's really no reason for you to go poking around under the hood here. If you do, don't touch the orange stuff. You'll get a new hairdo in a hurry. It won't be pleasant. So with the electric motor set up, we got 365 horsepower. Doesn't sound like much, but you got 516 pounds-feet of torque, which is a lot. And supposedly you can go 0 to 60 in just a hair over 4 seconds. A bit quicker than the gasoline version with the 3.5 liter. The claimed range before everything goes dead is 282 miles. Of course, that's in ideal conditions of perfect weather, which you will never find unless you live in Hawaii. We've taken this out and do a railroad test on the range, so don't go away. And with the G80 electric, you get the G80 gasoline interior, which is fantastic. No need to change anything. I don't know if I would choose white for my interior color. Very hard to keep clean, but otherwise, very snazzy. Here's your transmission shifter. Of this, the control for the info screen, which is very big. But you don't have to use the knob. You can use your finger. Your choice. And all the climate controls are separate down here. Thank you very much. Very easy to use. Plus some shortcut for your map, radio, navigation, and setup if you don't want to use a screen. So actually you have 3 choices. The knob, touching, or these. Those clever Genesis people think of everything, don't they? Nice large glove box. And your drive mode, giving you comfort, sport, or eco. Nice gauge cluster, by the way. Here's your camera system. Let's see what this does. Ah, there we go. That's what we're paying for. And this, oh. You also have some other shortcuts for the info system. And this is the volume for the radio and the channel changer. It's my understanding the Koreans went over to Europe and hired a bunch of designers from the Bentley brand, give them a fair hand and free hand to let them design what they wanted, and this is what we get. An absolutely gorgeous interior. Thumbs up, no complaints. The power steering is excellent. Decent feel and feedback and response. And with the fantastic low-end torque and all-wheel drive, this thing jumps off the line in a hurry. Whoa! Nice brakes, too. This is a bit quicker than the Mustang GT I had a few weeks ago. Of course, the Mustang GT could refill the tank in a couple of minutes at the gas station, and this, I'm running out the battery. Which doesn't recharge as fast as a gasoline vehicle, obviously. But until the battery goes dead, this is a nice vehicle to drive. I don't think I've ever had a Genesis I didn't like. According to the computer, we have a range of 288 miles after full charge, starting at 1766 miles. And it says at 96%. I need to take a trip tonight, late at night around midnight. I know it's going to be freezing then. I'm going to lose an awful lot of range. Last week I lost 50% just driving in the wintertime with the heater on low. And I can't afford to lose that many miles. So we're going to do a daytime trip. Outside temperature around 60 degrees. And see how this mileage will stretch out. That's what we're here for, to find the truth, right? One thing I like about the Genesis G70, 80, or 90 models, whether they're the gasoline or electric, they're very comfortable and super smooth. Equal to cars costing almost twice as much. The only drawback, if you have the vehicle in comfort mode, it's a little bit too soft, and the steering suspension might get a bit of waller. If you put the vehicle in sport mode, eliminates all that. You get a very crisp steering and firm suspension, still comfortable, but for some reason it eats up the battery power, just like in the gasoline cars. It cuts out the overdrive and eats up the gasoline power, just the way the Koreans do it. Anything in sport mode, you're going to drain more gas or electricity. There's a nice little drive. Let's pull over and see what the numbers say. And I like these turn signals. You have cameras on the outside mirrors. Nice feature. We drove 105 miles on the highway, used up 135 miles of range. I did have the temperature set at 77 degrees, but didn't turn the fan on, so it shouldn't make that much difference on the mileage. So here's the fun part. Instead of just stopping at the gas station for 5 minutes and getting some fuel, it took me 10 minutes to get here, another 20 minutes to find a machine that works. This is my fourth machine. And go through 3 credit cards before it recognizes the payment. So I've already wasted around 25 minutes. Now it's just starting to charge. Not Genesis' fault, just the way it is with electric vehicles and public chargers. By the way, I picked the 350 kilowatt station because they're supposed to be the most powerful and the quickest, but the little message on the screen here said they've downgraded it for some reason, and I'm charging just under 50 kilowatts, so I might be here a bit longer than I planned. Another one of the advantages of using public chargers. Yeah. Alright, actual charging time, 30 minutes to get my extra 140 something miles. It cost me 20 bucks. If this was a gasoline G80, getting 25 of the gallon on the highway, it would have cost me around 15 bucks. Didn't save any money here. That's why people charge at home. Just an update, while the actual charging time was about a half an hour, it took me about 10 minutes to get off the freeway and find the place, and another 20 minutes to find a charger that worked and found a credit card it would take, etc., etc. Just under an hour to charge, actually. when the trip was only an hour and a half. Again, not to follow Genesis, it's just one of the quirks of driving an electric car you have to get used to. If you're driving out of town, that is, and not charging at home. It's 53 degrees outside, 226 claimed miles. Let's see what happens. Starting at 1918. Just for the record, I want to make extra sure I do not turn on the heater, because when you do that, your range goes straight down the toilet. So I'll keep it around 69, 70 degrees in here. And keep my jacket on. I have this vehicle in eco mode, something I normally do not do, but I need all the range I can get. I don't want to run out of electricity on a dark, dingy road like this late at night. I don't know if it'll give me extra range, but it won't hurt. So we did 122 miles. It ate up 145 miles of range. Not bad, about the same we did in the daytime with the warmer temperature. So what's my take on this Genesis G80 electric vehicle after a week of driving? Well, it's like this. Given the choice between the G80 electric and the G80 gas, for me, I do a lot of highway driving. I just don't have time to sit around and wait for the chargers to work, so I'd have to take the G80 gasoline vehicle myself. However, if you're somebody who doesn't do a lot of out-of-town driving, or you want an electric car for whatever reason that might be, you have 80 grand to spend, this is definitely top of the line. If I had 80 grand to spend on an electric car, I think this might be my first choice. It's very, very nice. So it does get thumbs up approval for me, even though I personally wouldn't buy one. I like gas vehicles, what can I tell you? So if you're interested in this Genesis G80 electric car and you want to see how the headlights perform in the dark and see our night drive video, here it is coming up. Click and watch. I think you'll be very impressed.